Hi guys, it's Farmer Girl Ab coming to you today to talk to you about composting. A lot of you always ask me like, Ab, how do you grow? What do you use to grow with? So I figured I'll show you what I use to grow with. The first thing I usually start off with is composting. So we are going to create our own composting bin today. And I put this nice little whiteboard out here for you to be able to see the instructions, but I know the sun is shining and you probably can't see the instructions, so I'll read them to you. And we're also just kind of go through creating the composting bin together, so you'll be able to see how it's done anyway. So yeah, so the first thing you want to do is, I'm going to come over here so you can kind of see me a little better. So you want to go to Walmart or to your local hardware store, and or if you got one, you can just kind of create a bin out of. Grab you a 30 to 40 gallon or larger garbage bin, and make sure it has a lid on it that can lock, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Next, you want to drill holes all around it, and I'll show you how to drill holes in a little bit. And you want to make sure that you sit your bin on top of like some concrete blocks. You can have like some bricks or whatever you have. And that's for the air to be able to circulate throughout the composting bin. Then you want to begin your compost. And compost is about like layering, like lasagna. So if you think about like how to layer, what's a healthy way to layer? If you think about alternating green and brown. So green things and brown things. Green gives you nitrogen and brown gives you carbon. So if we're talking like green, we're talking like grass, any type of, things that come from the earth that's green. Brown, we're talking leaves, coffee grinds. If you don't have anything that's green, you can get things from your refrigerator. You can start wasting food. You can use your produce scraps, your orange peelings, your banana peelings. I'll show you. I do have some produce scraps. So we'll go through all of how to layer your composting bin. So let's get ready. So, okay, we have our bin right here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to drill holes. So if you're like me, you're not a carpenter, but drilling holes in a trash bin is not that hard. So if you have a drill, grab your drill, and you're just going to make little holes all around your composting bin. You're going to make about 1/2 inch to 1 inch or 1/4 inch holes all around your composting bin. So if you see right here, I already drilled a few holes on the side of my composting bin, going all the way down. I am going to drill some more holes on this side just so you can see how easy it is. It's not hard. How it is, you just want to take your drill, hold it in, and push it in. One little hole, easy like that. And you're going to create another one, just like that. And another one. And another one. All the way down. All the way down. And these holes are important for the air to be able to get through. You do want to make sure you flip it upside down because you want to drill holes in the bottom as well. You want to just get holes all around the best you can. Alright, so you got holes at the bottom, holes on both sides. Now you want to get some holes on your lid. I got a few holes already poked in. I'm going to put some more. Okay, so we should have enough holes there. Sit that down. So the next thing you want to do is you want to take your lid off. You can sit your lid down. Now you want to start your layers. You want to start your compost. All right, I want to make sure, I'm going to take these plastic little pieces of plastic out. Make sure it's not down in there. You don't want to put plastic in there. All right, so the first thing you want to start your composting bin with is brown. All right, so you can use leaves if you have leaves, or you can use some old compost that you may have laying around, or you can use hay bale. So in my case, I'm going to use some hay bale that I have starting. All right, so make sure you grab some gloves. I'm not real big on gloves, but I'll grab some right now. So grab some gloves. I want to go grab my, this is hay bale that I've had. So some of my old banana peels I have in here. I got a whole bunch of just old produce that I keep for composting. So it's really good to really just kind of break it down, because it'll just help it compost a lot better. Do that. So that's a good layer to put. Let me just grab some more because I have so much old produce that my kids waste, but I don't waste it, because I will just put it in like a box like this and wait until I'm ready to put it in the compost and compost it. It's good to do. You should do it too. So you can do that, and then you can also take like some old, which is really good to do actually, take some old compost you may have sitting around from like last year, some old soil from an old plant or something else that you were growing, and it's just done. So also old soil that you may have sitting around the house or sitting around the yard that you may have had from last year, from old food, old things that you've grown that you're just not using anymore. It really makes good organic matter to add to your compost. So I like to add that to the composting bin, so that's a really good thing to do. So you take that, you can add it, and it's really good. This is really good compost, because it's really composted down. If you look at it, it's good compost. So you can add that as a layer. So you're layering your compost. It's really good to do. Oh, that's just food. Okay. Another good composter is coffee grinds. If you drink coffee like me, you don't have to waste your coffee grinds. You can use your coffee grinds in your compost. So you can take that and put them in there too. Just throw them in there. All right. Another thing you want to make sure is that your compost is nice and moist. All right. So you can take water. I like to use rainwater. This is my little rain barrel. Oh, I think my marker fell in there. Oh man, I need to get that. I'm going to use my little bit of rainwater to wet my compost. want to make sure that your compost stays wet, and I'll probably add some more water to it. You want to make sure your compost stays moist. You don't want it to be dripping wet, but you want it to stay moist. A good way to know if your compost is moist is when you put your lid on and you check it every day or every couple of days. You want to see if your lid has any type of like condensation on it. If your lid has condensation on it, then you know your compost is wet. If your lid doesn't have any condensation on it, then your compost is not wet and it's probably being absorbed. The moisture is being absorbed in the material, and you probably need to add some more water to it so that your compost can continue to bake. So yeah, you want to make sure that your compost is moist. So you also want to make sure that you are turning your compost. You don't want to leave your compost just sitting there. You want to mix it around. So you can either get a tool, a shovel, something like this, or like a straight down fork, and you get down in there to mix it around. At least every 2 weeks, or take your lid, and make sure your lid is locked. Let me make sure this is locked because I don't want to lose my compost. Hold on, okay. Is that locked or is that locked? Okay, that side. This is really making me nervous. You want to make sure it's locked, because when it locks, let me just make sure. So when it's locked, when you have a lid that locks, you can take your bin, as long as it's not too heavy. If you don't have anything to stir your compost with, you can take it off your block and you can just put it down and you can just kind of roll it around. That kind of will make your compost that neat. So you can do it like that. See, that's what I was afraid of, the lid that came off. So you want to make sure your lid is locked. Just another way I wanted to show you. I usually just mix it up. So do it like that. So that's how you make a composting bin. The last thing, you do want to make sure that wherever you create your composting bin, wherever you sit it on your bricks, it's probably where you want to keep your composting bin, because you don't want to start moving it around because it gets heavy, and when it's super heavy it's hard to move. So if you start a composting bin somewhere, make sure it's probably where you want to keep it. I will just take this and just push it back and it stays there. Oh, and I do want to make sure that I remember those of you who don't have a big space to compost in. You can definitely still compost if you live in a smaller space, such as an apartment. You can still compost. You can compost in just like a flower pot, an old flower pot like this. You can maybe sit it outside your door, or somewhere where you keep your garbage, and or just outside somewhere, and you can keep compost in a flower pot just like this. This is just compost that I keep on hand when I am starting my seedlings. And as you can see, I just started putting just some more material on here, but this is really good compost. It's really good compost, as you can see. So you can just have a small pot of compost for your apartment. So, compost away. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks.